the practice yesterday on how defenses are officiated. Take a listen.
5 years they're not going to call, you'll eventually start worrying about it. They don't call offsides for offense, but they'll call on defense. They won't call offensive pass interference, but they'll call defensive pass interference immediately. Like, we know what they're trying to do. They want to load the points up so fans can be happy, and they'll call defensive holding, but they won't call offensive holding. Like let's just wake up.
Cam, you agree with Micah Parsons?
Yes, Micah. But what's good for business, though? Do you want to see a 10-7 football game, or would you want to see a 37-34 knockdown drag out? I mean, it is what it is, but I don't think that's what goes into officiating. What you have to really look at is who has an unfair advantage. It's disappointing when you see how hard it is to be an actual cornerback in this league. That's tough, right? Hey, it's disappointing to see how can you really stop the tush push. It's tough, but you got to get over it. Micah Parsons has been in this league and understood the deficiencies that he may deem as deficient, but it's still good for business. When offenses is exploding on the scoreboard, that's what we want to see as fans.
So are you saying that let's not be critical of officiating because it's good for business when the offense is favored over the defense?
What I am saying is, let them play, coach. Let them play.
No, you know what he's saying? He's saying because I said so. You remember back in the day, you do something and your mama would tell you not to do it.
That's right.
And then you would be like, why, mama? Because I said so. That's exactly what Cam is telling the defense. He's saying, yes, it is unfair. Yes, all of the rules do benefit the offense. You know what happens when something happens to a guy like a Cam Newton, a Tom Brady, or one of the top quarterbacks in the league, a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen? A new rule is made. You know why you can't hit quarterbacks low? Because Tom Brady missed the season. Do you know if you get into the pocket and the quarterback is throwing the ball and you attempt to block the football or knock it down or tip it and you just graze his pretty little helmet, you know what happens? They get 15 more yards and they got a first down. Michael Parsons is rushing the quarterback last week, literally trying to get to Joe Flacco. He got a hand around his neck. He getting clothesline. Dude got a hand all the way on his other shoulder. His shoulder pad sitting on top of his ear hole. And you know what happened, Stephen A? Nothing. Not a damn thing. You know why? Because as long as the offense scores, now everybody can watch Jackson Dart dance in the end zone.
Let me throw this at you because my man Ray Lewis, he broke this down because you know how he get when he start whispering. Stephen A. You know, he starts whispering, right? And that's when he's getting intense, even more intense, right? Like, we man. And I'm going like this. I got that, Ray. But why you always walking around acting like you know what, you threw up your hands and somebody else got to in the same, and this mano and mano, and that's it. If a quarterback is standing there throwing the pass, he's defenseless, essentially. It ain't like he up there against you. So I'm like, when you talk about somebody, you bring up Tom Brady getting hit low. I don't have a problem with a rule that don't want you to hit a cat in the knees or lower if you're in the quarterback position. If you can go from the knees up, I don't have a problem with that because, damn, you throwing the damn football. It ain't like you getting the face up against the defender.
What about, so I got to tackle you, and when you fall into the ground, why I got to stop, drop, and roll all the way off of you? Because if I fall,
that's part. And I have a little extra on the part. I mean, he can act.
Yeah, don't do that. Because if the petty Cam is really trying to insert himself in this thing. I was like, hold up, who got them calls? I didn't get them calls. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait, what was these rules when I was playing? You know what I mean? Right. But the thing about it is given I played on the offense. It's given you played on the defense. Now let's go to a person that watches it and covers it for a long time. Stephen A. When you watch game film, whether basketball, in this case football, would you not want to see a high-scoring game?
Absolutely would. You're absolutely right. You want more offense because you're bored by just the defensive battle. That much is true. But I do think at times it's been a bit excessively in favor of offenses. There is a line not to cross. It's a little bit too much in this day and age.
But Cam, the other point is this, though. Like, we've watched games that were defensive battles or that were back and forth games where the offense won one, the defense won one. And those games are fun, right? Like, when you think back to the Cincinnati Los Angeles Rams Super Bowl in 2021, that game wasn't just explosively high scoring, but when we get to the end of the football game and we see the no-look to Cooper Kupp and then Aaron Donald finishes with a pressure, that's excitement. Right? It's supposed to be parity. It's supposed to be an opportunity for both sides of the ball to have a chance to excel. And I think the more rules that we get and the more quote-unquote fun that we're attempting to have, we're taking the physicality, we're taking the mano-a-mano, we're taking the gladiator out of a sport that people watch because they can't do the things that you used to be able to do.
Yeah, but when you're talking about Super Bowls, I did not win one, obviously. I can hear the comments now. But when I look at the LA Rams versus the Patriots, I don't want to see that Super Bowl. I want to see the Patriots versus.
That was one of the worst Super Bowls.
It was low scoring. Come on,
13-3.
That was also more bad offense than it was great defense.
No, bad offense is good defense. You know what I'm saying? But the Patriots versus the Falcons and the marvel after Tom Brady's greatness, that's what cemented his legacy. But this is the only issue that I have in regards to officiating is, does it impact the game? Does it impact the game at the end of the game where it's like, okay, the other team could not recover from it? The one that sticks out the most, and I'm drawing a blank, but Dez Bryant's
the catch.
Yes. Against Green Bay playoffs.
It's one of them things like, oh my God, like that impacted the pass interference call, you know, for New Orleans Saints. So those type of calls, they have to take the time to really make the right call, because when you don't, certain things happen.
I would just tell you from a fan's perspective, that was a bad example to bring up Dez Bryant against the Green Bay Packers, because that led to so much misery for Cowboy fans, which made me very happy.
Saturday! Sometimes we allow the results of the games to influence the way we think about teams too much. And players get so mad at me. Teddy Bruschi got so mad at me every time I brought this up last year with Kansas City. But sometimes you look at teams' point differential, you look at teams' yardage differential, and they tell the story. If you didn't know what the Eagles' record was, and you just watched them play, you would not be so convinced that they were a Super Bowl caliber team. So that's my question to you, Bart. Are they a Super Bowl caliber team again this year?
I think they're a team that's down in the middle with everybody else, but one thing I do believe that they have the capability. We talk about low floors and high ceilings. This is a team that has a high ceiling because of the personnel, and we know that they have one of the best executives in all of football that can recognize what this team needs and can go out and address it. We talk about the big differences. They lost a lot of leadership in Brandon Graham. They let Sweat graduate out of the program, and it left them without pass rushers. So now I think they go out and they address that situation. I think they'll find themselves exactly where they are, with an opportunity to beat any team that they line up against in the NFC.
What are the vibes there, Peter? Because like you just watch them, you watch some of the stuff that happens during the week, you know, A.J. Brown and some of the comments that we've seen coming out of there. From a distance, it feels like the vibes are off. What are they, how are they feeling there?
Part of it is, hey, look, we've beaten the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, and the Rams already. Back off, right? We've done, like, why don't you guys, everyone, just step off? We beat the Cowboys in week 1. Then part of it is what we see externally. Kevin Patullo in a press conference talking around things. Lane Johnson after the game saying the offense isn't creative enough. And then, of course, you've got was there a meeting? Was there not a meeting? What constitutes a meeting between Jalen, Saquon, and AJ? So all that stuff's real. 4-2 is different in Philadelphia this year than 4-2 is in maybe a Jacksonville or a Tampa Bay. It feels different because that's what the standard is. And even when they won their Super Bowl, it didn't feel like this feeling of great joy. It felt like this feeling of, all right, keep them at bay. We can now do it. There's a different pressure cooker in that city. Those guys have been able to handle it. We'll see how it goes as the season goes on.
That's reasonable. And look, we paid so much attention to what Saquon hasn't been doing, what the passing game hasn't been doing, but it's not even the offense that has you most concerned.
Yeah, it's that defense, and Bart just alluded to it. A lot of guys have moved on to go to other teams, but when you look at them in total defense this season, they're 21st, they're 27th versus run defense, and then third down defense, they've been atrocious there as well. They're 26th. And the lack of pass rush and sacking the quarterback through 6 games in 2025, they have 9 sacks. Through 6 games in 2024, they had 18 sacks, Greeny. So the inability to sack the quarterback and arrive at the quarterback violently.
you.